Alright guys, thanks for checking in Stormtopia.com and the Stormtopia.com Facebook page. We're going to have our daily weather update right now. Current northeast radar imagery showing we got a storm making its way on through the region. Moderate bouts of moderate to heavy rain moving through New England, with a line of thunderstorms moving through western New England into New York State. We've got a cold front behind the storm with snow back into western New York State and lake effect snow, especially on the eastern shores of the Great Lakes where it is heaviest at this time. Now, let's take a look at the latest models and what they're showing. Okay, and I'll take you out to tomorrow, and what you see here is by that time, if I can take the map up over to the northeast, by early tomorrow morning, the storm is basically already gone up into Maine and then into New Brunswick by later that day, or excuse me, Nova Scotia. And what we're dealing with is pretty cool weather from the Midwest back into the Northeast, and pretty warm weather back into this area, but all in all, pretty dry weather. Now, Friday is looking like we're going to have a short wave moving on through the northern plains, which means snow from the Dakotas back into Minnesota. Okay, and this is going to beginning to set the stage for the storm that we've now been talking about for days now, and still looks like it's being shown on the models, except in different ways. And we're going to talk about that right now. Here you see we got a snow event, storm, whatever you want to call it, across the Ohio Valley by the time we make our way out into 70 to 80 hours out. Okay, and this is setting a stage for the storm up into this area, and it really depends on what model you look at. The GFS right now, which is the model we're looking at, you can see a little bit of a low pressure center, tiny bit of snow, but really not a big deal. The DJEX model, way different opinion, way different thoughts. Thinks big snowstorm from the eastern Ohio Valley eastward into the southern mid-Atlantic, and develops a low pressure center offshore. Now, if you remember, back to the GFS. Last year, the December 17th through 20th event, we were talking about many of the models showing it and not showing it. The NAM was one of the models that was showing it. The GFS was really not showing much of a storm. And then this happened, otherwise known as the Great North American Blizzard of 2009, whatever you want to call it. It was a significant snowstorm, and everywhere in blue, it dumped 10 to 20 inches last year. I'm sure you remember it. So, given the fact that we seem to be having a relatively similar situation setting up, GFS might not be the most accurate model. Well, let's take a look at some other models now. Here we have the GGEM model. GGEM is doing a good job. I believe so. Going with the DJEX solution of some snow for the southern mid-Atlantic, then it passes offshore. European is kind of hard to decipher right now exactly what it's trying to do, but here's what it basically shows. Low pressure center with snow in the southern mid-Atlantic deepens the low pressure center quite a bit to about 979 millibars off the east coast. That might be strong enough to wipe in a few back in a couple westward bands of snow later on in the storm. Now, what am I thinking right now? Well, I actually think the GGEM, the Euro, and the DJEX may have a point here in that we could be very well looking at an event that is pretty hefty for the southern mid-Atlantic. Too early to say. I'm not saying that's my opinion. I'm just saying that very well may be what happens. It's just more of a preliminary thought at this point, and we'll continue to edit our thoughts as we go through time. Tracking the storm. I hope you enjoyed this forecast video. Please spread the word about our website, and have a great day.